Okay, let's get right into it. Today's solar system, we're going to be studying one famous comet, and let's bring her name up. I don't know if it's a her or if it's a him, but it's Halley, the Halley Comet. So, as you see, this is one of the most famous comets of our galactic space. You can rotate it here. You can just look at the surface, the size, and where it equates to the universe. Okay, so let's just read a little information about our comet Halley, which is the most famous of comets, featured in the Biox Tapestry, which chronicles the Battle of Hastings in 1066. An international fleet of robotic spacecrafts also visited this comet back in 1986. Now, that is a different topic within itself. Robotic spacecraft landing on Halley. I will do my research and hopefully bring you the news on that very soon. So, let's get into a deep dive of what the Halley Comet is, a little bit of history. We have some quick facts here if you can read along with me or you can listen along. So, the length of day of the Halley Comet is about 2.2 Earth days. The length of year, which is travels, is 76.1 Earth years, 76.1 Earth years. And the diameter of this comet is about 6.8 miles and 11 kilometers. Now, just looking at it in the picture, it looks like a little lima bean. Doesn't look that big, but 6.8 miles, as everyone knows, that's a distance. So the comet type, short period, less than 200 years, and it orbits around the Earth. So in 1986, European spacecraft Giotto become one of the first spacecraft ever to encounter and photograph the nucleus of this comet. Look at that. Look at the comet and the nucleus on the comet. Now, passing and imaging Halley's nucleus as it's receded from the sun, Comet Halley is often called the most famous comet because it marked the first time astronomers understood comets could be repeat visitors to our night skies. Astronomers have now linked the comet appearances to observation dating back more than 2,000 years. Halley was last seen in Earth's skies back in 1986 and was met in space by an international fleet of spacecraft. It will most likely return in 2061 on its regular 76-year journey around the sun. The history of Halley's Comet. Until the time of English astronomer Edmund Halley, comets were believed to make only one pass through the solar system. So, that gave us a little bit of information there on where this comet Halley received its name. And why is it called Halley's Comet? Because the English astronomer who discovered it, or potentially discovered it first, was Edmund Halley. Now, he examined reports of a comet approaching the Earth in 1531, 1607, as well as 1682. He concluded that these three comets were actually the same comet, returning over and over and over again. And he predicted it in 1682 that it would return again in 1758. Now, the comet has since been connected to an ancient observation going back more than 2,000 years. So, voila, Edmund Halley wasn't the first. This is dating back 2,000 years before Edmund was even thought of. But in 1986, an international fleet of spacecraft met the comet for an unprecedented study from a variety of vantage points. The science fleet included Japan's Susei and Sakigake spacecraft, the Soviet Union's Vega 1, and the Soviet Union Vega 2. The International Icy spacecraft, the ISEE-3 spacecraft, and the European Space Agency Giotto. We also had NASA in the building with their Pioneer 7 and their Pioneer 12, also contributed to the bounty of science data collected. Now, previously when I read that there were visitors landing on this comet, I was thinking extraterrestrial. But you see, just people around the world, scientists around the world gathered to collect data on this comet. Let's continue our read. So Halley's connection to the meteor showers. Each time Halley returns to the inner solar system, its nucleus sprays ice and rock into the space. These debris streams result in 2 weak meteor showers each year. The Eta Aquarids in May and the Orionids in October. Now, what's the size? As we mentioned, Halley's dimensions are about 9.3 by 5 miles. So that's roughly 15 kilometers by 8 kilometers. It is one of the darkest or least reflective objects in the solar system. It has an albedo of 0.03, which means that it reflects only 3% of the light that falls on it. So we see how bright it is on this surface, but as we rotate, it's dark on the opposite side of its surface. Very unique. Now, the orbit itself, Comet Halley, moves backwards, the opposite to Earth motion around the sun, in a plane tilted 18 degrees to that of the Earth's orbit. Halley backward or retrograde motion is unusual among short period comets, as its greatest distance from the sun is beyond the orbit of Neptune. Halley's orbit period is on average 76 Earth years. This corresponds to an orbital circumference around the sun of about 7.6 billion miles, which is roughly about 12.2 billion kilometers. The period varies from appearance to appearance because of the gravitational effects of the planets, measured from one perihelion passage to the next. Halley's period has been as short as 74.42 years, between the years of 1835 through 1910, as long as 79.25 years, which was BC time, 451 through 530 BC. The comet's closest approach to Earth occurred in 837 BC at a distance of 0.033 off. At that time, April 10th of 837 BC, Halley reached a total apparent brightness of about magnitude -3.5. nearly that of Venus at great brilliance. The light of Halley was spread over an extended area, however, so its surface brightness was less than that of Venus. Now, during the 1986 appearance, Halley's nearest approach to the Earth occurred on the outbound leg of the trip at a distance of 0.42 Oz. It was slightly brighter than the North Star Polaris, but again spread over a much larger area than a point-like star. At aphelion in 1948, Halley was 35.25 Oz from the Sun, well beyond the distance of Neptune. The comet was moving 0.91 kilometers per second, which is roughly 2,000 miles per hour. A perihelion on February 9th of 1986, Halley was only 0.5871 Oz, which is 87.8 million kilometers from the Sun. Well, inside the orbit of Venus, Halley was moving at 122,000 miles per hour. So the lifetime of this orbit, with each orbit around the Sun, a comet the size of Halley loses an estimated 3 to 10 feet of material from the surface of its nucleus. Thus, as the comet gets older, it eventually dims in appearance and may lose all the ices in its nucleus. The tail disappears at that stage, and the comet finally evolves into a dark mass of rocky material, or perhaps dissipates into dust. Scientists calculate that an average periodic comet lives to complete about 1,000 trips around the Sun. That's right. A periodic comet lives to complete about 1,000 trips around the Sun. Halley has been in its present orbit for at least 16,000 years, but it has shown no obvious signs of aging in its recorded appearance. Now, how did Comet 1P/Halley got its name again? Well, comets are usually named for the discovery, for the name of the observatory or the telescope used in its discovery. Since Halley correctly predicted the return of its comet, the first such prediction is named to honor him. The letter P indicates that Halley is a periodic comet. Periodic comets have an orbital period of less than 200 years. So thank you once again. Go ahead and hit that like, that subscribe button, comment. I will continue to bring you more news in space as the world turns. Thank you.